Good morning, everyone. Let's see if we can get everything working. It's Monday. Yay, yay, yay. Oh, my goodness. It's interesting. I can't. Here we go. Let me just get myself off. And good morning, everyone. So happy to see you this morning. We had a little kerfuffle at the beginning, but I just keep moving my feet. Don't you? Happy Monday. And as you come into the room, let me sing you a little song that I absolutely, not a little song, it's a big song. But anyway, get yourself a cup of coffee. So good to see you. And let's. Moon River, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style. Someday, oh dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend. Moon River and me. Little music in between. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Lay. So happy that you're all here today. Moon river, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style someday. Oh, you dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend. Moon River and me. Good morning, everyone. I love that song. And you know what? I don't know why that song popped into my head this morning. I'm very excited to be here and so happy to see you this morning. Little trouble with the intro this morning, but hey, right, as I said, this is Mind Over Matter Mondays. And the purpose of this live every Monday morning is to set your week on a positive, high vibrational note. What I've discovered is there are many ways to make changes and transform our thinking. And this is all about becoming agile thinkers. And what that means is not only do you have a handle, for the most part, on your triggers and your fears, but even further, by bringing in guests who have slightly different ways of explaining how to implement change or transformation, it allows you to select which works and resonates best for you. Then what happens is that when you are in a situation, depending on the context, you not only have shut down your triggers, temporarily albeit, but you now have choice of which conscious point of view you're going to give. It's not just like one view over the fear. It's now allow me to choose. And you can do this more quickly with the more options. And that's why we have guests. And that is the most wonderful thing. And allow me to bring in this lovely lady. Now let's see if I can get her up here. Let me get it to the right thing. I'm so excited with these things, okay? So you said that we have a sponsor, which is Power Thinking. Good morning, Catherine. It's so good to see you.
Good morning, Leslie. And I'm delighted to be here. And you know, it's so fun. I love Moon River. It was one of the first things I learned to play on the piano. You know, one note at a time.
Yeah. That was from Breakfast and Tiffany's. That song, if you remember, with Audrey Hepburn and I can't think of the guy's name, Rex Harrison, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was the male counterpart. So thank you for being here. I'm very excited. This is your second week, and I want to introduce and welcome everyone, as I usually do. And anybody who wonders why I do this, you should try this, because people really love to be seen. And sometimes we're alone all day.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't get anybody to say anything to us. I remember my friend 𝘾𝙖𝙩𝙚 𝙀𝙗, who also was I think she was maybe the first or second host to this a couple of years ago. She said she went to a restaurant, Catherine, And when she came out with a group of people, and she had a big to-go box, I guess she didn't eat much. And there was a homeless person standing there, and something told her to talk to him. She gave him the food and asked him how he was. And he said, "You're the first person in 3 days that's spoken one word to me."
Wow.
And what I know when I evaluate myself, it's never as good as your evaluation. Right?
That's funny.
You see me, right, without my fears. You see, right, the conscious side of me. But what I see is a combination, and my fears are lesser, right? They're more managed, but there's still a whisper. So this is why I'm so excited that everyone is here, because this is your time. And today we're going to be talking about the ultimate mind diet with you again. We're going to we're going to review the last two, what we did last week, and bring in 3 more points. So get your pencils out and everything. And let me just say hello to Adrian. Good morning, Adrian. How are you? What I love about you is that you're one of the few people that actually goes back and watches and puts in their team replay. Sometimes I rewatch and I forget, but it's very helpful. And the best part about that, and so Adrian, I'd love to have you ring in on this at some point. Did you find yourself not only watching, but also reading the comments and the additions people sent in, their questions, their answers? Because you're going to get another layer of understanding. You not only get me and Catherine and what actually happened, but you're also going to be hearing from each person. So feel free with your comments and questions. So Adrian, do let me know about that, okay? Okay, thank you. Glad you're here. And here is Leanna calling in from Duluth, Minnesota. And so glad you're here. We're going to have a lot of rain here and potential hurricane. You know, you're in the middle of the country and it's such a beautiful place. Do you live anywhere near lakes, or is that the pictures that you post on LinkedIn? Is that out your back door? So you all watch Leanna's pictures. They're beautiful. Now, go ahead. What were you going to say? No, nothing? Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. And I think I may have made a mistake, Leanna. So I'm going to go back, and please allow me to apologize if I've gotten your location incorrectly. But I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Just occurred to me that I might have goofed up on that. A lot of names, a lot of wonderful people here. And each week I go back and look at some of the profile descriptions, because I know you a certain way, but there's a lot of things that people don't know about you, like Lay. So Lay and her partner, she's on the West Coast, and thanks for being here. And her partner created this wonderful program called Integrate Art, which she's moving into the school systems. While her strength is video and visioneering, right, and marketing, this program teaches students and teachers to include art in every subject. So why would that be good, Catherine, that extra addition of art, right, into all the concepts? Why do you think that would make a difference in learning for children? I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but I thought I would.
Oh, no, but I do think it's fabulous. My daughter-in-law is an art therapist, and I have learned a lot from her in that, because, and it's not necessarily making, you know, a gorgeous picture, a gorgeous painting, but it's allowing your emotions to come out, to allow the energy to come out of you, and to see how that comes out on a canvas or a paper. And it's really fascinating.
Well, that's our Lay. And one of my oldest friends. So, well, she's not the oldest. I'm probably the oldest, but she's one of my longest friends. Was started on Facebook. So thanks for being here, Lay. I know it's 3 hours earlier where you are. And we have the lovely Melanie Richards. Good morning. Have you met Melanie? I want you to. She has a program called I'm Possible.
Yep.
Which is phenomenal. And it's this afternoon at 2:00 Eastern. Just in case. Hey, Melanie, thanks for being here. I'm so glad to see you. And here's Lisa Fevick. And you also want to get to know Lisa. Lisa is a registered dietitian. I think she's also a karate expert. But besides that, she has a biweekly show, a panel on the menopause dialogues. Basically, what it is what do you eat to manage the menopause years? And by the way, everybody, it could be up to 30 years. So really, your food really matters. Lisa, thank you for being here, for always being here. I really appreciate that. Oh, I'm glad you like that song. Oh, thank you. And here is Sean Michael at noon every Monday. He has Monday Mind Shift. He has a background in NLP. He's a coach. He lives in Guatemala. And he was the only man that reviewed my book, The Possibility of Erotica, was a beta reader last summer before we published. And I really appreciated that. You were the only man that stood up. It's fine. Nothing bad about the other ones, but it was good to have, right, a man. And the women love it, but I kind of wanted to hear very much wanted to hear what Sean said. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Sean. And then we have Dr. Marcia. Is that you? Someone calling you as your?
Oh, let me go find out.
No. Just put yourself on mute, and we'll see if that was it. There we go. Dr. Marcia is a Christian leadership coach, and she has a live tomorrow morning every Tuesday at 8 a.m. And I love her philosophy, which is everyone is welcome. And she doesn't push Christianity. I mean, honestly, there are some rooms where people lead with that. And if that's what you want, that's where you go. What I like is what she does is that she will tackle a lot of different subjects that I can speak about, you could speak about, and then she'll cite a reference to the New Testament. So that is so good, because sometimes we think that before the Bible, a lot of people do, that there wasn't any of this information, but it was. It's all right for the last 5,000 years. So since we've been recording history, maybe not in the caveman style, but since then, right? So this information has been around, and we're just re-articulating it and developing it. And so let me welcome Ashif. Ashif is in Toronto, and last week, no, that was the week before, we featured him as an outstanding mind over matter person that supports us all, right? And so Ashif is a thought leader. So watch what he publishes and make sure you're part of his circle. You won't be sorry. I promise you. All right. Here's Sharon Rose. And Sharon Rose is Rosie Speaks with a hashtag. She does beautiful photos, very well versed in personal development and transformation, and a very sweet soul. And I'm writing in an anthology, a legacy anthology that's coming out at Thanksgiving, and we're writing in it together. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that. All right, let me just make sure I got everybody. And thank you, everybody, for all your comments. Listen, I got in trouble with comments last week. I just have to tell you guys, I went through and answered every one of your comments, and LinkedIn put me in the clink so that I couldn't comment for the next 24 hours. Now, I don't do a whole lot of comments, but that day I did do a lot. So beware and be careful that your comments are value driven. Mine are, and I feel obligated to you when I don't forget to do it or get too tired to do it, to go back and respond to each one of you. So Mark, so glad you're here, calling in from India, weekly visitor, and so happy to see you here. And here's, oh my goodness, recruiters have empowerment with job seekers, inspired by thinking, or works with 12 LinkedIn session, follow her weekly. Oh, you wrote about me on Substack? Oh my gosh, this is what it looks like. Thank you so much. Aren't you lovely? Sajid Kumar is up in Toronto, and he's an HR recruiter, very well known and expert in his field. Thank you, Sajid Kumar. That is a very nice acknowledgement. And now I can't wait to go see.
That's great.
If you would put that comment in the comments on the event, or in these comments, so that we can go back and just click if we'd like to, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. I love that. And we have the wonderful and the one and only Meryl Cass. Good morning, Meryl. Yes, it is the last day. Is it the last day? Is today the 30th? Or no, today's the 29th. I think we have one more day. I believe. Well, it's the last September Mind Over Matter on Monday. You're absolutely right. And he's in Paramus, New Jersey. And you'll see Meryl everywhere because Meryl has taken it upon himself to make sure that people that love these lives know about them. And there's a number of different ways. LinkedIn does not have a special way to consolidate at this point that anybody can find. So we all work together right, to do our best to keep these in front of you because it's easy to forget. Also, the reason I do it is because, Catherine, I want to save time. And I think that LinkedIn has the most value. So I don't really want to send people off LinkedIn. We had enough of that in Q4 when it was announced that the audio rooms were closing and people jumped ship, right? They didn't, and many of them didn't even give it a chance to see what it would be like. But for those of us who stayed, we've saved time and we've learned to use the system. Okay, let's see who we have here today. Kimberly is here. We were talking about you earlier. So you have to go back to listen to her. And Kimberly was one of the first co-hosts here, and she's wonderful. She's in Chicago, in the middle of our country, and I'm always so happy to see her. Thank you, Meryl. Aren't you kind? And I'm so glad everybody's here. And oh, there's Christy, and we featured her last week for her community support. Christy, I never stop telling you how much I appreciate you. And Catherine, you must know this woman. And in fact, I have a ticket to the 2350s network, the Work-Life Balance Telesummit. And I'll tell you about later. It's all day Friday and Saturday online. And that's how I met Christy. I think it was 2 years ago, or I had a ticket and she was the first one to raise her hand. So reach out to me if you want that ticket. It's 2 days. Okay, the value is a couple of $100, but I have a complimentary ticket. So if you think that you can attend Friday and Saturday or the most of it, you get to watch the replays. And there are 2 events per hour. So there's a lot of speakers, a lot of wonderful information. And that's where we met. And we've been close friends ever since. And here, a good morning to you from our Meryl. We're very glad you're here. And let me move on here. Look who's here from Florida. Elizabeth Falloon. She pops in like a champagne bubble whenever she can. And Elizabeth is in the beauty industry. If you know her, she is as beautiful from the inside as she is on the out. She's sophisticated and well-read. Just a beautiful example of a woman in her divine feminine, right? But she's smart as a whip. So thanks for being here, Elizabeth. I haven't seen you in a while. She's in Florida. And here's Angel. Good morning, Angel. She was gone for about a year, and now I see you're back, and I'm so glad you're here. It's wonderful to see you again. And here we have Nicole Ongai-Galindo. Hi, Nicole. Nicole is a publisher, and I am her line editor. I'm a consultant, right? I help her with her publishing business for doing line editing, which is quite a chore. And I've got about 30 years in it. But Nicole has a Saturday night show every other week called Nick Never in Control. And she has every other Tuesday night, she has The Person Behind the Pen. And she's all about lifting people up, right? And the Legacy Anthology, if anybody's interested, it may be too late, but this is the 3rd year in a row for the Legacy Chronicles where you can write your legacy for your families, right? To read about you. I gave my part 1 last year away to my family because I knew they weren't paying attention to what I've been doing the last 25 years. They've been very busy living their lives, right? All right, I think we're just about done here. I'm not going to play all of these. Just want to make sure I get Oh, look who's here, Leah Garcia. Leah is the Wednesday Wealth at 1:00, right? Anything about money. She has what's called the Wall of Wealth, which really what it means, it's made of blocks. So, you might need certain insurance and investment capabilities when you first get married or you first start your job. But when you get old like me and you're retired, you need different things. That's what I really like about Leah's program is that she'll help you pick and choose. I only needed one module, maybe two. That's all I needed. But then there's many more depending on where you are in life. All right, so let me just get done here. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, Felipe. You have no idea how happy I am to see you. And you know why. Felipe is one of the most forgiving, kind souls. You must get to know him. He's a top voice on LinkedIn, and he has a show every other Monday afternoon called Workplace Wellness Hour at 8 p.m. every other Monday. And I think this was last week. He also is on the weekends. He does Careers, Chaos, and Coaching every other Sunday, I believe, at 11 a.m. that he does that with Melissa Houston. So you really want to get to know Felipe. He's very kind, and he's a recent #1 let me take that back. A recent international best-selling author, children's books, just a month ago. So congratulations. You never think a person in HR would do a children's book. It's a beautiful story. It truly, truly is. All right, let me see if I did this right. Leanna, yes, that lake is in my background. Okay, I did get it right. I'm 30 minutes from Lake Superior, and we're going to hit, oh my gosh. Yeah, 81. The weather is wild, absolutely wild. We're in North Carolina, and we had 2 weeks of fall, and then we're right back to summer, like 80 and 90 degrees. Yeah. So thank you for clarifying that, Leanna, and for being here. And here's the most sweet man on the planet. This is Omar M. Medovich. And he does Zoom parties live on LinkedIn and YouTube, which is like Jeopardy. So, hey, Omar, why don't you invite Catherine to be on one of your Zoom parties? Or he does at noon on Sundays, Do We Really Know Them? And, the thing about Omar is he gets all these wild ideas and then he implements them. And they're always a little different than what you might expect. Nice. Catherine would be a good one because I don't know if you were here last week. I think you might have been. But Catherine has a lot of theater, television, movie background, right? But what she really is here, she's has a Bachelor of Science in Nursing and is a registered nurse. But she also created the Ultimate Mind Diet. And Catherine is one of the few people that I know, and like there's two, well, maybe three, that not only knows the biological medical side, but also understands mindset. So you've got your neuro people who have college degrees, but they never learned mind. Their teachers never learned mind. So why would they even know about it? So here we have these neuro people that collapse together brain and mind as though they're one thing. Well, right away, if you're in mindset, there's something really missing there. So that's what I love about Catherine. That's why you should have her on your show. Omar, thank you for being here. Okay, we got to have this, a little comic relief. Yes, it seemed like 130 years. It did. But oh gosh. And here's Sharon Byrne. She's a wonderful coach. She's a best-selling international author. And right now I see her focusing on helping people get their children into college, saving money. She's joined and is a partner with Leah Garcia. And she's also a coach and certified for a certain exercise therapy. So she's really diverse, and she's also a darn good editor too. So she's loaded. Get to know Sharon. She's a love. She truly is. All right. I just want to make sure I got her. Christine Feedy back in town. I'm so glad to see Christine. Christine is a woman after my own heart, and you may not know her, but this woman took on a short master's program and did it in less time than anybody else with her back against the wall. This is who she is. Give her the hardest thing to do that no one has done before, and she will do it with flying colors. And that's why I love to have Christine here, because she's always got something wonderful to share. Thanks for being here. Happy Monday. And when you saw the intro finally go, Aaron Gibson is the one who created that for me. And so he is a trainer in the trades, but he also is a magical visioneer with videography, music, and lyrics. So, Aaron, thank you for being here. I know you've been very busy this last week traveling. He lives in Calgary. If you know anybody up there, training is about to begin. And so he sneaks in, right? Because it's a couple hours earlier. Well, depending on where you are, it's earlier. So thank you for being here. I love that you're here. And I think we're doing really good. Here's Peter Mulfler. He's an HR representative. And I think you're still in Texas, Peter. I met him in the karaoke room. So he loves to sing. All right, we got a big group here. This is good. There's our wonderful sponsor, Stanley Green. Stanley is the CEO and president of Power Thinking Corporation. And he has a new app, which I'll share with you, a phone app where you can get all your personal development, power thinking prompts, videos, weekly, all that. You may want to try that, Catherine. I think you would like it. There'll be an offer to get 30 days at no charge. Stanley, thanks for being here, my friend.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. This summit this weekend is going to be amazing. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm really honored to see my friend Chris Ward here. It's very nice to see you, Chris. Chris and I have a commonality in that we both did landmark education, right? Which is a transformational technology. We didn't do it together, but it's all over the world. And that's how we figured out how we know each other, because there's a certain language that we speak. Yep. Right, I'm double checking here. NK is here. Thank you so much for being here. We totally appreciate that. Appreciate your being here, NK. And here is Dr. Annie. Hey, Dr. Annie, I'm not sure we're connected. Please reach out to me if you are not connected with me, and connect with everybody. All right. So it's 10:30 and it took longer than I thought. Okay. Let me look at my list. I have 13 things to do in this 1 hour, and I have a list. Okay. So here we go. Are you ready?
We're ready.
I got my agenda here. So let me see how we're going to do this. I know how we're going to do it. We're going to do it like this. And we're going to remove this, and we're going to put this here. There we go. Here we go, everybody. Are you ready? We are going to now move into the training session, but not before we acknowledge someone in the audience. One of you has been here and supports everyone, and it always shows up. And this is Sean Michael, who has the North Star Site's publication each week, his newsletter. And he is a man that has emotional depth, courageous presence, and always lifts others up. A real truth seeker. We see you, and I see you, and I know who you are, and we know who you are for us. So we want to take just a moment to acknowledge Sean Michael for his kindness and his generosity in sharing this kind of information. I just love that. So hope you enjoy your acknowledgement today, Sean. Oops, sorry. Now, here we go. So I want you to tell us. So last week we learned a lot about Catherine. And this is the picture that really interested me. You told us, Catherine, that this is your granddaughter. So
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about her, where she lives, why she's the most precious thing in the world.
Well, I just love this picture because it's so representative of connection and family. And obviously, Etta was, tiny at the time. Etta was born at home, and I had the real privilege of being there as well.
Wow.
And I know, right? And
wow.
It's fascinating, the bonds that are formed during that time, right?
Yep.
And so what I really love about it, Etta is now 9, and she's so fun. She's strong. She is so kind, although she knows how to hold her boundaries as well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she is really intuitive, and she's a little old soul in there, and she's super smart. And oh my gosh, is she fun. So I'm going to actually be staying with her over the Columbus Day weekend. So we are going to have a little adventure.
It's nothing like being a grandma. So tell us a little bit about you. And we know that you've done theater, and we know that you've done a lot of different things, but tell us how you got into mindset from being a nurse. Tell us a little bit about that transition, because being a nurse is not the same as mind work. So how did that all come together for you, if you don't mind sharing just a bit?
By the time I was 23 years old, I was the charge nurse of a small intensive care unit. And by the time I was 25, I was in a hip to breast back brace, and my lumbar spine had crumbled. Everybody was too heavy. All the equipment was too heavy. I'm not the only nurse in this position. I was walking with a walker until I could get to the surgery. And I had a beautiful repair at the Mayo Clinic. And I was back in Florida, and I had lost everything, my car, my apartment. I hadn't been able to work in so long. And I'm about 30 pounds lighter than you see me now. And I'm in this hip to breast back brace and my prescription is to wear this for a year and walk at least 1 mile a day for a year. And I was really angry at the time, because it's just like, oh my gosh, I've done everything I think I'm supposed to be doing, and something is way off. And fortunately, I had the introduction to cassette tapes of Dr. Wayne Dyer. That's how I started to learn about body-mind energy, body-mind spirit connection. And that made me even angrier, because why was nobody talking about this to me or anyone else? I've been through 4 years of nursing school. I've played sports my whole life. I wasn't a little bookworm, wallflower. I was always very active, and I was in great shape. So how could this happen to me? And so I walked that beach every day. I went to the beach every day in a bikini and that back brace, and I didn't care what I looked like. And I got up to 7 or 8 miles a day, and I kept listening, and I kept listening, and then I started reading, and I've been studying different aspects of it ever since. So that's how I got into it.
Oh my gosh, I had forgotten that story about, that your back crumbled. And so you really, a lot of times out of frustration, I've learned, comes the seed for change. And obviously you were angry enough and frustrated enough that you found, they say that when you're ready for it, it came to you. So somehow those cassette tapes made their way to you, and it was like an answer for you. And you were right. They didn't teach you any of this because they didn't know, right?
Well, but as you mentioned earlier, this information has been around forever. And however, it's been suppressed on so many levels. Pardon me. And I was just at the point, it's like, oh no, this is not going to be my life. And there has to be a different way of living.
Yes.
Because this is not what I'm doing.
I got it totally. Okay. Are you ready to get into the teaching? So here's what we're going to do. Thank you for sharing that. I had forgotten, and I apologize. I know that you told me that story.
That's all right.
Sometimes the trials that we go through help us to help others.
Oh, no question.
Right? When we get over being angry, right? Right.
I didn't really stay angry for very long.
Good.
But the initial response was like, "You've got to be kidding me." Right?
What else is there for me to do? I mean, I did it all. And now you want me to wear a brace and a bikini on the beach? I'm sure that there were articles written about you.
Well, it was really funny. I actually made a lot of friends, and people were cheering me on, and it was just like, and so we got to swap stories, and what are you doing today? Gosh, we're making progress, right?
And so you wore that brace for a year?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right. Well, speaking of vibration,
Right.
why don't we get into this? So if you remember last week, everyone, we touched on the energetic scale and the vagus nerve. So we're going to start with that briefly. Give us 2 minutes or so on the energetic scale. Then we'll do the vagus nerve, and then we'll pick up the last 3. Fair enough, Catherine?
Fair enough. That's
All
great.
right. All right. So let's hear it. Tell us about the vagus nerve. Oh, excuse me, the energetic scale. I'm sorry, they look so different. Let's do a review. I'm going to be listening and taking notes.
But it's all good. I
Yes.
love showing people the visual of the energetic scale, because I do believe when people have a visual, it's just like, oh, it's like having the hat rack. I have someplace to put my hat, right? And when people can understand that everything has an energetic value to it, every thought, pardon me, every emotion, every action has an energetic value to it, and it influences how our body responds with our chemical cocktail reactions, whether we're running on stress hormones or we're not. And it's important to realize that when you're down at the lower vibrations, when you're in that anger mode, if you're in the blame mode, your vibration is hurting you.
It's lower, right? It's
Right.
lower. And so you're kind of out of harmony with the way we're built. Is that fair?
Yep, out of alignment for sure. And what's interesting is that when people understand that, they might be angry at Uncle Joe, but when they understand that they are actually hurting themselves, that's a different story. And so it's a beautiful teaching tool. And you'll notice on the side that the colors are opposite. The cone colors are different than the vertical on the left side of this graphic there.
Yes.
And that's the heat map scale. And that is
Is that this right here on the left here? I'm pointing. I don't know if my arrow will show on this or not.
Yeah, I don't see the arrow, but you'll see the color gradients in between the words and the numeric value.
Yes.
And that is known as the heat map scale or the psychological scale. And that you'll see that at the top it's red, and it indicates red there as being a higher intensity, right?
So I'm seeing purple, but you're talking about the ultimate consciousness. Is that the right color?
Right, and that's purple on the cone.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and then on the vertical scale, you'll see it's red, which it is the exact opposite, right? And what I really love,
it's like a funnel.
right, I know.
I mean, a sales funnel, right? Like they come in and, either whichever way. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, hopefully you want them to be frustrated when they come in, and then when they get done with your coaching or your teaching, that they're more towards the enlightened scale, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I just think it's important for people to have the thumbnail sketch of these things, because when we do have a visual that comes to mind, it's just like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes. Well, we think in pictures.
Yes.
That's right. So, and when we look at the picture, that's kind of like what Leigh is doing with her Integrate Art program, in a way, is bringing in the visual observation to whatever it is you're learning. I love it. Now, you said that the pattern interrupts, we're going to get into that in a little bit, right? So they don't relate to this necessarily, or they will push you up the scale if you use the pattern interrupt, correct?
Yes. And what I love about it is that sometimes a pattern interrupt will come spontaneously. Most times we can do a conscious pattern interrupt to change our emotional state, to change our energetic state. And that's what another thing that I think is critical that people understand, is that, we all have so much more control over the quality of our emotional state. And it's really the quality of our emotional state that dictates the quality of our life experience.
I love that. I absolutely love that. If you have any questions, thank you, Dr. Annie. It's fascinating. And this is why we're doing this, because see, Catherine brings something to the table that I don't have, right? I have some of it, but I want you all have so much to share. So, okay, so let's move on to the vagus nerve, which we also did, and remind us about this amazing vagus nerve that I noticed is here, right? You see how it wraps around your neck, and I know I saw something anyway where you could turn your head all the way to the right and look all the way to the right, supposedly resets your vagus nerve. I don't know. Is that true, Catherine? You're the nurse. And if it is reset, what is that resetting? Tell us about the vagus nerve.
Well, what's interesting is we do have 12 pair of cranial nerves, and this is number 10. You'll sometimes hear it referred to as cranial nerve number 10. And the reason I like to talk about it so much is that you'll see how extensive it is. It's also referred to as the wandering nerve, and it's tied to almost every organ in your body. And so if you're not taking good care of it, right, there might be some repercussions there.
Yeah.
So what I really like about it is, and this is a very simplified explanation, right? When you take in a deep breath, you're engaging your vagus nerve. And by doing that, it's also inviting the calming side of your nervous system to engage, the parasympathetic. And that's why breath work is such a beautiful pattern interrupt and a beautiful mindfulness tool, because it slows down your heart rate. You can slow down lower your blood pressure. You are engaging the calming side of your nervous system. And I actually encourage people to schedule on their phone several times a day to practice and do breath work. And there are many different types of breath work out there, and it's up to you what works best for you. What I teach is, because we are these electromagnetic beings, we are vibrational, and we're light beings. And there's this beautiful age-old Eastern concept of visualizing breathing in the light. And so when you visualize it, you're breathing in the light and you're filling up with this gorgeous light, and your heart is getting bigger and you're glowing from the inside out. And you also realize that you're engaging the calming side of your nervous system. What a beautiful mindfulness tool. And it brings you right back to yourself. And as you know, when you're calmer, you think better.
So let me ask you something here. So I have AFib, which is an arrhythmia in my heart. Every so often it flutters. And so I can't remember where I learned this, but it has to do exactly with what you're saying. Is this what you mean? So what I do when I feel that fluttering in my chest, and I have medication for it, but still sometimes it happens, I do this. And then I slowly exhale, slowly through my mouth. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, and you regulate it, right?
I do, and it slows it down. It's really amazing. It's wonderful. Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's get into these three. Okay, now the three that are left: the lifespan of emotion, pattern interrupts and epigenetics. And we've got 2 or 3 minutes for each one. And let me just say, love this. Sharon Rose says breathwork is brilliant and free. By the way, would you be willing to come back another time and let's do breathwork?
Oh, absolutely. I love doing it. I teach it to everybody that will listen.
Okay. That's the deal. Would you guys like that? I would just love it if you did. That's so fantastic. Okay, good. You are all my witnesses. Yes. Okay, so lifespan of emotions. Take it away.
The research has shown that the average lifespan of an emotion is only up to 2 minutes. And what's interesting about that is we keep resetting it, right? Because we do have, the negative default of the brain always on the lookout for what's going to happen next. And most times our life is not in peril, right? And when you can bring yourself back to yourself, you get anxious, bring yourself back to yourself with the breath work or a mindfulness tool or a pattern interrupt, and remind yourself that the average lifespan of an emotion is only up to 2 minutes. And if you catch yourself in this negative loop and it's 2 hours later, you can go, wow, now wait a minute. I have a choice. Or 10 minutes later, or whatever it is, because we can absolutely learn from our emotions. And I'm not suggesting for 1 minute to not feel the emotion, because that's part of our guidance system and we can learn an awful lot about it. However, we don't have to stay down in the quagmire if that's where we are. And I think that that's why it's just a beautiful thing for people to understand, because it's all part of making different choices, making better choices for ourselves. And
I've got a question for you on this.
yeah.
So I don't want to get into pattern interrupts, but let's just say that we are triggered. Somebody says something that it just runs away with us. It's wrong. We just aren't on top of our game. Is this where you would reset your vagus nerve or not necessarily? And is the vagus nerve part of the pattern interrupt?
I would say you can use your vagus nerve as part of a pattern interrupt. Absolutely.
Okay.
Because when you're engaging the calming side of your nervous system, okay, then that allows me to move around in my little silo of my 360 to, all right, how can I look at this differently? What have I learned from this that is going to cause me to make a different decision next time? And
Yes.
we get an awful lot of information through our emotions and these things that do trigger us. However, it's not healthy for us to be triggered constantly.
Right, because then that's the lower vibration, which may, right, and that's really what moves us into dis-ease. I love Louise Hay for that. And also I want to ask you another time about EFT, the emotional freedom technique, but we'll get lost because we only got a couple of minutes left. So talk to us about pattern interrupts, a couple of them. And this is when we catch ourselves being upset, you could reset your vagus nerve. What else could we do to interrupt usually a pattern of negativity or negative thought? Is that what you would imagine the pattern is?
Right, because it's just interrupting the cycle, right? Of that loop thinking or whatever it is that we're stuck on. And when you think about how when the creek is overflowing, there are ways that you can dam up different areas to divert the water. It's kind of the same thing, because we do have an option to use a pattern interrupt. It can be a change in physicality. It could be breath work. It could be finding a reason to laugh about something, just a different state of mind. Sometimes it's just being silly. And so, right?
So you're changing what you're thinking.
Exactly.
You use the pattern interrupt. So what that goes a long way to say that what we think persistently and how we feel about it affects our physical being, our well-being. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely, because every thought, emotion, and action with that energetic value to it influences the chemical cocktail reactions in the body. And when we're running on stress hormones for any great length of time, we're not designed to work that way. And when those stress hormones are in play pretty much constantly, the body breaks down because the body can't function that way. It's just not built that way.
I love that you're doing that. Let me just say a quick hello to Charles calling in from Hong Kong.
Hello,
Hi, Charles. I'm so glad you're here. It's always wonderful to see you. Actually, Charles and Catherine are usually Thursday morning on Don Cohen's, let me think, Empower Hour, 11 a.m. Eastern every week. There's a panel, and wonderful. And Catherine and Charles are typically there. So thanks for being here, Charles. Okay. So now we need to go to epigenetics, and then we're gonna have limited time to finish up, and that's my fault. But anyway, tell us about epigenetics. What is it, and how can we understand it simply so that we can take this next week to process what you've taught us? And I recommend everybody go back and listen to the second half hour of this. Right, the first half hour was all the acknowledgments, but the second half hour is where this content is and when you watch it again and again, the things that maybe are a little confusing, they will get clear at some point. So tell us about epigenetics.
The basic explanation of it is that how we react to our environment will either upregulate a gene or downregulate it. And it used to be that everybody thought, you inherited your DNA, your genes, and that was your life sentence. And the research shows otherwise. And what's interesting is all of this study has brought about the science of, signal transduction. And the last study, for an example, the last study that I read on Alzheimer's, and the number of diagnoses of Alzheimer's is increasing. However, what they are finding is that it's really only less than 2% of those people that have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's have a genetic predisposition. And so, I watched it with my mom. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and she got to a point in her life, her husband had passed on. She was very vibrant for a while, and then it was almost as if she said, I'm kind of done. And it seemed to me that it was more of a withdrawing and an escape mechanism. And she was delightful, actually, for the most part. We had some actually very funny times. However, it is not something you would really want to wish on anyone. But it is a physical progression in response to the environment.
I got it. That's phenomenal. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, folks, as we move on, thank you for that, Catherine. So we looked at the energetic scale again, and we now understand, and correct me if I don't get this right for myself, we now understand that the higher the vibration, the better we feel, right, on the energetic scale. And then we looked at the vagus nerve, which turns out that it actually could be a pattern interrupt because it resets this nerve that is all the way throughout your body and also resets the parasympathetic nerve, if I'm not mistaken, the way you explained it. And then, was that right?
The parasympathetic nervous system. Yep.
Oh, the system. Okay, so when you reset the vagus nerve, you're resetting the parasympathetic nervous system.
Yep,
right?
You're engaging that, right?
And that if the lifespan of an emotion is 20 seconds tops, now you can use.
I'm going to say it's only up to 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for interrupting. Okay. So it's up to
pattern interrupt.
You need a pattern interrupt. So it's up to 2 minutes. You've got to recognize it. Then you could reset your vagus nerve, or you could do what were those other things you could do? You could use your body, get up and dance, take a walk, turn on music, reset your vagus nerve, anything to interrupt that 2 minutes before the 2 minutes ends on its own. Is that fair enough?
It might take up to the 2 minutes to actually process what the information that you're gaining from that emotion.
Got it.
Though when it goes beyond that point, then we have the option to interrupt that, because what happens is by the continual thinking loop, you're resetting that emotion to go off again, to go off again, to go off again. And when it goes off too many times, that's your cue to go, oh, okay, I have a choice here.
Something. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I hope everybody got good value and this all makes sense to you. Please ask any questions. And now I want you to tell us tomorrow, if you want to work with Catherine, she's giving a complimentary workshop from 12 to 1:30. This QR code works. It's a complimentary registration. We'll put the link in the comments. I'll be there.
Okay, good.
Come join us. So what actually we'll be doing there, because we're a little bit over, but I do want to hear briefly. So we're going to be, is this a pattern interrupt?
Part of what I spoke about today will be in this, although I'm also going to, just go a little bit more into the nervous system and why the nervous system plays such a central role in stress and anxiety and autoimmune issues. And so I'll go into a little bit more to that, and why some of the typical solutions aren't really solutions. The Western medicine model is inviting more, enrollment in a sickness and illness model. How I work with people is very much East meets West. And I think it's important to incorporate some of these things that we talked about today. And I also think it's, there are ways when you can adjust your thinking a bit that you can engage and be able to experience a greater level of vitality in your life. And of course, that's a much more beautiful life experience to be having than what you think you might have to just endure.
Absolutely. So grab the QR code. I'll put the link in the comments and join us tomorrow and work with Catherine. Where is she, Christy? Oh, so Christy is asking this. What I showed you is one of the ways. So like for my AFib resets my, what is it called again? My vagus nerve by doing this, which is 2 deep breaths in fast and holding it, and then exhaling through your mouth until it all comes out slowly like this. Right, Catherine? Mm-hmm. Okay, that answers your question. Fantastic. I am so excited about this. All right. So, Catherine, thank you so much for being here today. I am so thrilled. And I'm going to move you back into the studio. We've got about a minute's worth of things. Okay, thank you. And please come back and we're going to do this because I've got several people that said, yes, please. Yes, please. Let's do this again. So if you're willing. Okay. I would love to do that. That would be phenomenal. Absolutely. Well,
thank you. I'll look forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now it's important for you to know and let us acknowledge Power Thinking Corporation as our first sponsor of the show. And Mr. Stanley Green has offered you all 30 days free of the Power Thinking app on your phone. So everything you need is right there with one app. And he's giving it to you complimentary. We're extending this so that you can let him know what might not be working or what you really liked. So in return for your feedback, and your keen eye, you will have the use of this powerful mobile app. And he doesn't take any credit card, right? This is purely complimentary. You don't have to key in anything. So we're super grateful to Stanley, and he's been here several times, and he'll be back again with Power Thinking Corp ideology and concepts so that we can learn something else as well. And the last thing that I want to share with you is, let's see if I can make this big. There we go. This weekend, Work-Life Balance Summit, Friday and Saturday, all day online. I have a complimentary ticket. It's several $100s, but this is a complimentary one that I have. It's 2 full days with 2 sponsors every hour, but they go 45 minutes. So you do have a 15-minute break. And with this ticket, if you'd like it, and it means a lot to you to be there, you are ready and willing to up level, if you will, your awareness, and you're excited and hungry for new information, you'll be able to watch the recordings, I believe, for 30 days. So you can use the QR code to get information and buy a ticket if you want, or you can use Creative Living Ideas, or if you want that ticket, send me a direct message. The first person who asks for it will get it. And with that, my friends, we have completed today, and I will give you the outro. This has been super good. We're a little over as usual, but I love having Catherine here. I love what she brought to us, and I want more. And I think you probably do too. There's so much more. But in these small bits, we can get clear and assimilate one step at a time. Oh, wait, I got something. Here's our darling Stanley. He'll also offer, okay, I saw this on his show, by the way, 7:30 a.m., 9:30 p.m. Eastern, live on LinkedIn is his Power Thinking show, which is 30 minutes where there's a video and a lesson. So check out Stanley Green on LinkedIn. Okay, a $10 Amazon e-gift until 11:30 a.m. Is that today? There is a card information to enter, but not charged for the 30 days. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you, Stanley. I really appreciate that. I'm doing my best. So you know what you've got. Go back and watch the second half. We'll have somebody exciting for next week. Thank you for being here. And now let's see if I can close this show the way I want to do it, and wish you a fabulous week. Come on Friday, if you're not in the Work-Life Balance Summit, at 10 a.m., I'll be doing Think and Grow Rich and the 12 Laws of Achievement as we move forward with our Q4 2025 goal. So with that, my friends, have a fabulous week. Reach out to me. And let's see if we can get this puppy to play. everybody. Have a great week.